If this is your very first time at Watobe, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here with us. Our regular grade 7 teacher is not with us at the moment because she's having a baby. So I'm just standing in for the next 3 months until she comes back. But Rebecca's promised us that she'll come and say hello once the baby is born, and she'll show everybody her baby. So that'll be really nice for us later on. Okay. What we're going to be talking about today is square roots, all right? But before we talk about square roots, I want to recap and just go back to what we were talking about on on Monday, beg your pardon, where we were talking about squaring, okay? So now I would like someone to please tell me, all right, and you can either put your hand up or pop something into the chat. Okay, what does squaring mean? Okay, Motabang, I can see your hand is up. Go for it.
Squaring means that the number that multiplies itself twice.
Okay, so absolutely, you've explained that really nicely. Okay, so what squaring means is that when we take a number and we multiply it by itself. All right, now I see there are some more hands up. Is there somebody else who wanted to ask a question? Let's see. Oh, Fiona, your hand's up. What's up?
Ma'am, square roots are the result of a number multiplied by itself.
Yes, that's what squaring is. Quite right. Perfect. Okay, so the reason why we need to know what squaring means is because today we're going to talk about the inverse or opposite operation. Okay, so before we talk about a square root, I just want to write a little bit here on the side. Okay, so you've been learning all the way through primary school, right, that if you take a number, so for example 5, and you add 3 to 5. What is the inverse or opposite operation to adding 3?
Ma'am, is it multiplication?
It's not multiplication, but that's a good suggestion, but not the right one, I'm afraid. Lesedi?
Ma'am, the opposite of plusing would be minusing.
Absolutely. Okay, good. Well done. So if I say 5 plus 3, I would end up with 8. But if I wanted to get back down to 5 again, I would need to start with my answer and I would need to do the opposite operation. Okay, so in this case, it would be starting with 8 and taking 3 away, and then I would end up back at 5 again. All right, so plus and minus are inverse operations. Okay, they do opposite things. Okay, to a number. All right. And similarly, I can work with multiplication. Let's say I say 5 times 4. I'm going to end up with 20 as my answer. Okay, so Kaya, I'm going to let you try this one again. All right, so Kaya, if I now start with 20 and I want to get back to 5 where I started, what do I have to do to 20?
Ma'am, I need to say 20 divided by 4 equals 5.
Divide.
That's quite right. Okay, so 20 divided by 4 will be equal to 5. So again, all right, just like plus and minus are opposite operations, so multiplying and dividing are opposite or inverse operations. Now, exactly the same thing happens with squares and square roots. So we had learned the other day that a square, and we've just revised it now, that a square is a number multiplied by itself. Okay, so in this case, 3 multiplied by 3 can be written as 3 to the power of 2 or 3 squared, and that gives us 9. So now if I start again with 9 and I want to get back to 3, right, what am I going to do to 9 in order to get 3? I'm going to
Divide.
Is it dividing those in, Claire? I suppose it is a very special type of dividing, but what's it called? It has a special name. Does anybody know? What is the special inverse operation that I have to use when I have a perfect square and I want to go, not BODMAS? I'm going to try Fiona. Okay, Fiona's not talking to me. Okay, Tisha?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think you'll have to use the square root.
You have to use the square root, absolutely. Okay, because a square root is the opposite or inverse operation of squaring. Does anybody know what a square root looks like?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what it looks like? It's a really weird symbol. It looks like this. It goes up and down and then over like that. And sometimes it even has a little lip on the end. But if it doesn't matter if you don't write it with a little lip on the end. And that means a square root. That symbol that I've just written over the 9 is the symbol that we use for square root. So if I want to work out what the square root of 9 is, I'm going to write that symbol over the 9. And it's going to allow me to go back to 3. Okay, so just like adding and subtracting are inverse operations, multiplying and dividing are inverse operations, so the act of squaring a number, which is what I've now highlighted in blue, and taking the square root of a number, which I've now highlighted in yellow, these are inverse operations. Okay, so now that we've had a discussion about that, let's go back and just identify what we call certain things. Now, what's new here is the word root. We've seen the word square before because we've been talking about squaring and squares and perfect squares and, you know, the fact that square numbers make square shapes. But the word root is a new word for us. Someone's got a hand up. I'm not sure. Is it Zandile? Sorry, there's guys, you've got your hands up, but I'm not sure. Do you want to ask a question or is something wrong? Do you maybe want to pop something in the chat? Let's just see. Oh, you want to, okay, Motibang, what do you want to ask?
Me now.
Go for it, Motibang.
The root is the number that you use to multiply. I think
The root is the number.
Yeah, the root is the number where it has this thing on the root is like the base, like 4 is the root.
Okay, is the root the base? Are the words base and root exactly the same? Do other people, have you learned that at school?
No.
No, you haven't. Cat? Cat?
Yes.
Okay, is this young man right? Is a base and a root the same thing?
Technically, yes.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so he is correct. A base and a root are actually exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a different word. Okay, so you're not wrong, Watabang. So if nobody else at school has learned that, it doesn't really matter. What we're talking about over here is how to get back to the root or the base of the problem. All right, so not that this is a problem to be solved, but this number over here is referred to as the base. The base. Okay, what do we call the number that I'm highlighting in green? What's that called?
Exponent.
It's called an exponent. Absolutely, it's called an exponent. Okay, so perfect. All right, so a base and a root are the same thing. So well done, Mutabang. That was a good explanation from you. All right, so if we say 4 squared and we get 16, this is the process. The one on top, the process that is red, this is the process of squaring. And when we go back from 16 back to 4, that's the process of taking the square root, okay, or rooting 16 in order to get 4. Okay.
Ma'am?
Yes. Am I there?
Am I right by saying another word for exponents is the power?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
So quite right. So if I say 3 to the power of 2, then I am saying, yes, the power is 2. All right.
Okay,
So
just wanted to make sure.
yeah, 100%. Okay, so the number at the bottom is referred to as the base. That's 3. And then the number at the top, the little number that tells us how many times to multiply the base by itself, is the exponent, the number at the top. Okay, so I can see there's a few people that have got hands up. So let me just stop for a second and take some questions. Okay, Nolo, your hand is up. What's wrong?
So, Mom, I wanted to make sure, is it fine if we call it a square base, ma'am, instead of a square root?
No, it is actually, it's called a square root. Okay, so don't call it a square base. But I don't know why, I don't know where the name root comes from, but it is definitely a square root. But 4 is the base.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, no problem, Nolo. Okay, who else has got a question? Let's see, there were just a few people here.
I have
okay.
a question, ma'am.
Sure, okay, Amatle, go for it.
If it's 4 to the power of 0, for example,
Ooh.
is the answer going to be the same number as the base number?
No.
Okay.
No, it's not. Now, in grade 8, you're going to learn more about when something is raised to the power of 0. Okay, but if you'd like me to, I can explain that to you very quickly, but I don't know if it's part of the grade 7 syllabus. I don't think that it is, but let me just explain to you where it comes from, all right? Because it's a really nice question.
1?
It is 1. It is 1. Okay, so you guys have seen that. Have you learned that at school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, you have learned that at school. All right, cool. Okay, Tisha says no. Okay, so just very quickly, for those of you that haven't learned it, all right, I want to show you where this comes from, okay? So let's pretend that we have 2 squared. Actually, I don't know if you're gonna know how to do this, all right? But what we see here is that we've got the same base, all right? So if we want to divide, so in other words, if I've got 2 to the power of 2, this means divide. So this line over here means divide, divided by 2 to the power of 2. What I'm doing is I'm taking something and I'm dividing it by itself. So in this case, I'm taking 2 squared and I'm dividing it by itself, and that's why the answer has to be 1. But when you go to school, go to grade 8 next year, you'll learn a rule that says that when you are dividing bases and the bases are the same, you're going to keep the base and you're going to subtract the exponents. So you end up with 2 to the power of 0. So if this is equal to 1 and this is also equal to 1, we must conclude therefore that 2 to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Okay, so it's not the same as multiplying by 0. 2 to the power of 0 is always going to give us 1 as an answer. If you haven't learned about that this year, don't stress, it'll come up next year. You really need to do dividing like bases before you can understand this. But yeah, for those of you that have learned it and do know that it's equal to 1, that's absolutely fine. Okay, so you said you wanted to go back to the previous. Okay, so I think there were still some people that had questions. Okay, Malefosipiri, I hope I pronounced that correctly. What do you want to ask?
Yeah. Nothing, ma'am.
Nothing. Okay, all right, that's fine. And then Kuselwa, What did you want to ask? Kusawa, did you have a question? No? Okay. Fiona, did you have a question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That's fine. Busi, did you have a question?
No, ma'am.
All right. Masi Zazi, did you have a question?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I wanted to ask that it is true that our maths taught us that when you are plusing or minusing in square roots, like you plusing two numbers because it's like two or maybe the number that. So I'm just still new to these things because we didn't even learn properly what's the square roots.
Okay.
So that's I it.
Okay, but do you understand what I'm saying here about squaring and square rooting and that they're opposite operations? Is that making sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we're just going to do some simple calculations today. We're not going to do anything particularly difficult because there are a lot of people that are different levels. I mean, I can do a little bit more difficult work with you, but you know, this is meant to be inclusive of everybody. So let's just see how it goes, and then we'll see where we end up. But of course, if you do have a question, please, I don't mind you raising your hand. Zandile, you did not learn about this yet. That is going to happen, unfortunately. If we work according to the CAPS document, Sinclair, then all grade 7s were supposed to do exponents in the first term, but obviously some schools do things a little bit differently. Okay, so I hope what I'm saying to you today makes sense. All right. Okay, so we were talking about this the other day. All right, what number when squared equals 9? So in other words, they are asking you here, the question is asking you to find they're asking you to find the Malachi?
Square root of 9.
They're asking you to find the square root. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, to find the square root. Okay, so in other words, they're saying, let's take 9. Let's root it, and we're going to end up with 3. Now, be very, very careful, okay? A lot of people get confused here because they say, okay, 3 times 3 is 3 squared, which is 9. And then if I start with 9 and I take the square root, I don't go back to 3 squared, okay? I go back to 3. Remember, I'm going back to where I originally started. Okay, so the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 49, Busi.
7.
Good. The square root of 49 is 7. Lovely. Okay, Devin. Do number 3 for us, Devin.
Number 3 is 9.
It is. Good. Okay, so the square root of 81 is 9. Lovely, Devin. Well done. Okay, then next it's Uvile. Uvile, what number when squared equals 225?
15.
Good. Okay, so the square root of 225 is 15. Nice. Well done, guys. That's great. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to try some of these. Okay, so if we have a look on the left-hand side, we can see it says squared. So when 4 is squared, and I'm going to call on you guys to give answers here. When 4 is squared, let's see who's next. Kaya. So 4 squared gives us? Kaya, 4 squared gives us? Okay, Kaya's not on. It's what, Caroline?
Ma'am, it's 16.
It's 16. Well done, Amahle. It's 16. Good job. Okay. If we start with 81 and we go back the other way, Maria, what do we get?
9.
We get 9. Okay, good job. All right. If we start with 10 and we square it, what do we get?
100.
100 into kilo. Well done. Good job. Okay, let's see who else has got their hand up here. Mbali, if I start with 225 and I take the square root, what am I going to get?
15.
15. Okay, good. So in grade 7, it's really important that you're able to do lots of mental maths super quickly. Okay, Caroline, 11 squared gives us? Caroline, 11 squared gives us? Okay, Vunani, go next since Caroline.
121.
121. Good, well done. That's great. 121. Okay, Asamahle, the square root of 400. Amahle? Okay, Amahle is not answering. Okay, Tami, what's the square root of 400? Okay, Tami's not answering me. Okay, Tulamo, what's the square root of 400?
16,000.
16,000? Okay, I think you're going the other way. Okay, so you squaring 400. I'm asking you to do the square root. Okay, so Zinhle, what is the square root of 400?
Miss, is it 20?
It's 20. Good, well done. That's perfect. Okay, so here we should have 20. All right, so remember guys, if they're asking us to square something, they're asking us to multiply it by itself. If they're asking us to take the square root, it really is a special kind of division. We are splitting the number in such a way that another number multiplied by itself gives us our perfect square. Okay, like 400, for example. Okay, so I do want to show you this maths trick. But I think what we're going to do before we go and do the maths trick is, oh, there's some nice difficult ones here, but I think we'll have to do the maths trick first. Okay, let's see how many you can do from this table over here, all right, in 60 seconds. Okay, so ready, steady, go. You're going to do the answers for A and B and C. Don't stop. You're going to do as many as you can, and in 1 minute, I'm going to tell you to stop, okay? Okay, 30 seconds to go. Fifteen seconds. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's it. Time is up. Did anybody manage to finish? If you managed to finish, put a smiley face into the chat. Okay, good, Bulela. Well done. You managed to finish. Did anybody else manage to finish? Okay, so Tisha did. Oh, good. Nolo, you didn't. Don't worry. That's okay. Well done, Rana. No, you're not done. Bussi's not done. Kaya's done. Almost done. You had 2 more. Okay, Bussi, were these a little bit difficult? Okay. All right, that's fine. As long as you have tried it, that's okay. We can go through the answers here and see if we can do these. Okay. All right, so the first one is going to be, let's see who's got their hands up, if anybody. Okay, someone wanted to do the first one. Who was it? Yeah,
Me,
these
ma'am.
are, okay, all right, go for it. You do the first one.
400.
400, absolutely. Well done. Okay, so 400 is the first one. 400 or is it 40? I think it should be 40. Okay, because yeah, it should be 40. Because if we say 40 times 40, then we'll end up with 2 zeros after the 16. Okay, but you were super close. That's fine. Okay, Chalamo, you do the second one.
12.
Good, Chalamo, that's 12. Excellent, because 12 times 12 is 144. Good job. Okay, Ntukozo, why don't you do the next one for us? Ntukozo, do you want to do the next one? Okay, so Ntukozo didn't answer. Okay, so Kuselwa, do you want to do question D? Okay, so Kuselwa is not answering. Kaya, do you want to do this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go for it, Kaya. What do you get? Kaya, you're
14,
gonna,
ma'am.
14.
Yes, ma'am.
14.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
is that right, Sandile?
Yes, ma'am.
14 times 14 is 196. Okay, good. All right, now
Sorry,
question
ma'am, my mic
E.
wasn't working.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Patson, do E. Patson? Yes?
For E, it's 25.
It certainly is 25. Okay, and that's because 25 times 25 is equal to 625. Okay, the next one, F. Motibang. Motibang? Don't know where Motabang is. Devon, do you want to go next? For F, Devon?
I think it's 30.
30.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. So Devon, I'll tell you what you can. Yes, it is. It's 30. Good. Well done. Okay, because 30 times 30 is equal to
90.
900. 900. Perfect. Okay, the next one's super, super easy. Junior, do that one. Junior, do G for us. Junior, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Junior, you can do G for us.
8.
Okay, no Junior. All right, who's next? Sihle. Sihle, please do G.
So, ma'am, the answer for G is 4.
It certainly is. Okay, and that's because 4 times 4 is 16. Good, we're nearly done. Vonani, please do H.
Ma'am, may I go next?
Okay. I didn't hear that, Vonani.
20.
20. Good, Vonani. Okay, and that's because 20 times 20 gives us 400. All right. Now, I know somebody asked if they could go next. And Caroline also asked if she could do the last one. Caroline, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Caroline, you do the last one for us.
Is 11.
Is 11. Good. Okay, because 11 times 11 is 121. Okay. That's it. All right. So now we've done a little bit of mental maths. We've got our brains warmed up. And now I want to show you another one of these amazing maths tricks. Okay. I hope that you're going to enjoy this trick. It's something that I have used in my classes. So I hope that you are going to enjoy this as well. Right, so now there's an interesting pattern that happens with square numbers. Okay, so if I write all the perfect squares out, look at this. Okay, 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16, 5 squared is 25, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared is 49, 8 squared is 64, and 9 squared is 81. All right, so what I've done is I've written the second digit in a different color. Can anybody explain to me what's going on with the green numbers? What can you see there? Right, so there's a few people that have got their hands up. Anati. Anati.
Oh, it means.
Okay, so I just don't know if I can go ahead and go and do this because I see there's hands up again. Oratilwe, what's up? Maria? What did you want to ask?
Ma'am, I didn't want to ask anything. I just wanted to answer.
Okay, so what can you see is going on here with the numbers?
The
green numbers specifically.
I think they're the units.
You can't see anything with the green numbers. I'm gonna ask somebody else if there's anything that they can see. Okay, Maria, is there anything that you can see with the green numbers?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So if there's anybody that can see some kind of pattern with the green numbers, that's what I'm after. All right, let's ask Lindy. Lindy, I've never seen your name before. Lindy, do you see a pattern?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am, I do not.
Oh,
sorry,
you don't.
ma'am.
Okay, with the
Yes,
green
ma'am.
numbers, who's saying yes?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, I can
it's
see a
me,
pattern.
ma'am, it's me.
Me,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
me.
Ma'am, it's
Me,
me.
ma'am.
Ma'am.
Me,
Okay,
ma'am.
hang on. Okay,
Me,
hang on a
ma'am.
second. I can't answer all of you at the same
I
time.
can see a pattern.
Okay, Amashe, what pattern can you see?
Most of them are repeated twice.
Okay, but can you see how it goes from 1 to 4 to 9 to 6 to 5? All right, and then once it gets to 5, can you see that the pattern goes back down again? All right, so once we get to 5, we go back to 6, and then 9, and then 4, and then 1. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
You can see that. All right. So this is a very important pattern that happens with square numbers, with the last numbers over here. All right. So now I want to show you this trick that I've learned that will help you to be able to work out a square root very, very quickly, right? So let's take something really simple to start off with, and then we can do something a little bit more difficult later on, all right? So I'm going to start off with something that we already know the square root of, that is 225. Okay, so if I want to work out the square root of 225, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look. Oh no, I've forgotten now. It's gone straight out of my head. It was something to do with these numbers on the side here. Okay, so if it ends, hang on a second. So if it ends in a 5, it's going to be one small. Hang on, let me just try something else. If I try, what was that, 196? If it ends in, okay, so if it ends in a 6, right? The number, the square root, has to either end in a 4 or the square root has to end in a 6, all right? And these two numbers over here have always got to add up to 10, all right? So we know that it's either got to end with a 4 or it's got to end with a 6. Then I'm just trying to remember what we do next. We look, that was to do the thing afterwards. Oh, I've forgotten this. No, the answer is definitely 14. I'm just trying to remember how we get the 1. Okay, I tell you what, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to think about it and then I'll come back and I'll show you this. I can't believe this has gone straight out of my head, but I cannot for the life of me remember what this is now. Okay, let's have a look at these over here. All right. And again, hopefully that's big enough and everybody can see. And you guys try and do as many of those as you can. I'm going to give you a little bit more time this time round. Let's try and do as many as we can in 3 minutes. Okay, and then we'll go back to that other question. Okay, so see how many you can do in 3 minutes. How are we doing? Are we finished? Is 3 minutes too little? Okay. You've done a third of them. Okay, if you want more time, that's fine. All right, not a problem. You can take more time. It's no problem at all. Okay, Aziza, just hang tight. Okay, that's good. Okay, well done, Rana. Well done, Candace. Well done, Caroline. One more minute. Okay, no problem. Okay, so just hang tight and we'll go through these together.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Who's talking to me? Okay, so it says Zinhle. What's up, Zinhle?
Never mind, ma'am.
Okay, you're all right. Okay.
Ma'am? Ma'am?
Yes, Nolo?
I wanted to ask, are there any maths quizzes you know that we can do after the meeting?
Yes, we are going to go and do a maths quiz after this. Okay, so we're going to go through these answers super, super quick. And then you guys are going to have to go and do your maths quiz on squares and square roots.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
No problem. Okay,
Ma'am,
so
I already did mine.
did you already do it?
Same.
Okay, you shouldn't have done the quiz already. Okay, so everybody should be close to being finished by now. I think it's fair. Okay, so we've got a few dones here. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do so that we can have time for us to go and do the quiz is I'm just going to go through the answers quick, and then you guys can mark them. And hopefully, if I make any mistakes, you'll be able to tell me if I got anything wrong, but hopefully I don't. And then at least we'll have enough time for you guys to be able to go and do the quiz. Okay, so what we should have got was the following answers, grade 7s. So here we should have had 13. And here we should have had 49. And here we should have had 3,600. Okay, then in the next row, we should have had 12 and 25 and 81. And then here we should have had 2 and 40 and 4, and here we should have had 400, and here we should have had 4,900. Here we should have had 1, 11, 225, 625, Here we should have had 64. Here we should have had 36. Here we should have had 6,400. Nearly there. All right, then here we should have had 9. Here we should have had 8,100. Here we should have had 14. There we should have had 100. Here we should have had 2,500. And the last one should have been 30. Okay, so now in total, we had 3 across and we went down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so that means that this was out of 24. Okay, is there anybody who got 24 out of 24? All correct. Well done, Bulela. All right, Zinhle. Excellent. Well done, Oratilwe. Good, Nombulelo. Devon, 2 wrong. That's okay. Tanwir, 18. Good job. Caroline, 23. Lovely. Who got 23? Bali, nice. Well done, Kaya. Well done, Fiona. Tatelo, you got 23. All correct. Well, see, it's just 2 wrong. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Are there any questions that you want to ask me? Well done, Uwavile. Motibang, not done. Okay, doesn't matter because you've got to go and do the quiz now. That's just why we've got to finish off. Okay, so if you got 1 wrong or 2 wrong or 3 wrong or even 4 wrong, that's still really, really good. Are there any questions that you want to ask me about why the answer is what it is? Lindy? No, Kaya says no. Okay. Okay, well done, Nolo. That's good. All right, so now what we've got to do is we've got to end off. We've got 10 minutes to go, and the quiz is going to take you about 10 minutes to do. All right, so, oh, Tisha, don't worry. Okay, so Oratilwe, what question do you have?
Ma'am, there's in my other friend's school, ma'am, there is like other schools that do squared 4 plus like ma'am squared 121. Ma'am, will we be learning those, ma'am?
We will. So what I wanted to do today was just introduce the concept, and then in our next 2 lessons we're going to do cubes and cube roots, and then we're going to get onto calculations.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. Okay.
Ma'am?
Okay. Motabang, what's your question?
I learned this at school. This one is different because I know we never done this before, but we also do 2 times 2 with exponents.
Yes, absolutely. And we're gonna do that next. Okay. Okay. Yes, Avumile. Avumile, do you want to ask a question? Okay, so Candace is asking where we go for the quiz. Kat, can you help Candace, please?
Yes, I'm about to post the link now. I was just waiting for the questions and everything.
Oh, okay. So Kat is going to post a link for you to use. There we go. She's done it. Thank you so much. And you can all go on there and go and do the quiz. Okay. Just before you're welcome to go off now. Hulu